Hello and welcome to today's video where we are going to do the redraw challenge, where it's basically redraw an old piece of art in your current art style. This is what we're going to be doing today. I started drawing digitally about 2 years ago. The pieces that we're going to redraw today, it was one of my latest traditional art illustration. Before I started digitally, I was only making traditional art. For example, with color pencil, Posca, or paint, or also just ink pen. So this is the illustration that we're gonna be remaking today. Hopefully, I'm gonna go and do something better, I hope. So I started with a sketch that I just drew on paper, and then I took a picture of it and redraw it on my iPad. But what I want to do today is challenge myself a bit and try to do a body for this character. Not a full body, but just add some anatomy and some colors as well, because only the hair has colors and that is a bit sad. But we're gonna keep the same character and leave some features, for example the color of the hair. Just gonna keep this. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. I wanted to say that I am nowhere near a professional, so take anything I say with a pinch of salt. A pinch? A grain of salt? How do we say this? I'm not English, I don't know. But I thought it would be nice to see the improvement that I had during these last 2 years, and also the skills that I gained, or I didn't. We'll see. My art style has changed a lot during the last 2 years, even before, between drawing for fun since I'm a kid, exploring new art style over and over, and just experiencing things. But it's nice to see the difference between what I was doing when I really wanted to be an artist and draw, and what I actually doing now. When it's about art style, there's a lot that I've done. I started with traditional art, and then when I started using digital art, I was using Photoshop and really got into landscape illustrations, and then started to go more for objects and witchy stuff with crystals. I was not doing any portraits at some point, until recently when I bought my iPad. I started to appreciate making portrait again, which is one way actually really nice, because I wanted to stick to a specific thing for so long and was actually scared to redraw portrait again, because I just thought I lost it, so it was no point redoing again. I did lost it, but just, you need to learn stuff. That's the whole point of improving. So anyway, here is some of my recent illustrations so you can see for yourself. I honestly feel like I made this drawing about like 20 years ago when it was just in fact 2 years ago, and it felt so far away. I remember being so happy of the result of this illustration, but when I found the sketchbook again and I decided I wanted to redraw this illustration, I thought about a few stuff that I could change. For example, the hair could be more like floating in the hair, and adding some colors to the skin, and maybe experience with the anatomy. That is quite of a challenge that I did for myself. As you can see here, I'm not drawing too much anatomy. I'm still getting to it. I'm really trying my best to learn and keep drawing, but sometimes it's just not working well. But yeah, that is like a small challenge that we're going to do today. Hopefully it's gonna go well. Back then I think I was really scared of drawing bodies and I didn't had enough patience to color in as well. So my art style has changed a lot in the last 2 years. It's really funny because if I decide to draw this illustration, I don't know, about 5 days later, I will come up with something totally different. So for the colors, I think that is the most stressful part that I can go through because I never know which colors I should put in an illustration. I can find myself staying for half an hour trying to figure out the good colors that could work on the illustration until I find something that I actually like. My old illustration doesn't really help because there's not too much color, so that was a bit of a challenge, but I figured out that keeping soft colors will go well because, you know, with like the horns and the kind of gothic corset or whatever I tried to do, that was not too much of a problem in this illustration. I think the biggest problem was the background, but we're gonna come back to it when we're gonna be there. It's really hard to compare the old illustration and the new one, as one is traditional and the other one is digital. Obviously I tried to keep some feature like the color of the hair, the horns and the face, but by adding some more stuff that could give a good punch to the illustration, and also by adding what I learned in digital art. Art style, I think, is the most complicated thing because the more you draw, the more you improve, the more your art style is going to change. So as I said before, if I would have done this illustration I don't know, a month earlier, it would be totally different, and maybe I wouldn't have challenged myself with drawing top of the body, even though I didn't draw everything. But yeah, overall, I had a lot of fun trying new stuff, but I tried to stick to what I usually do because I didn't want it to get lost in those things of creating new stuff while I was filming. Does it make sense? Well, I hope it does. As I was saying before, I'm gonna go back to the background. So the background, I usually do the same kind of background. It's kind of the same thing. I had some light stuff and I'm trying to mix the colors that match with the rest of my art style. I usually go for like some blue, sometimes purple. What am I saying? I always go for blue. What am I saying? But kind of a like fantasy, galaxy stuff. This is what had made the other illustration different from this one. I added like this fantasy magic instead of this kind of, not sad, but it's just, you know, not colorful. And this is what I was doing all the time before. I was just not using colors at all. Now I just love working with colors, even though it's just a nightmare for me. It just feels more magical and it adds something to an illustration. I'm happy that I've done some colors in it, and this stage is like kind of the last parts, like the last details that add to the illustration. I liked the idea of adding a ball and some kind of magical light around. I think it worked well with it. Anyway, I hope you like this video. Well, like usual, I am not 100% satisfied with the result, but I still like it and I think it's cute. It just gives a nice refresh. Even though now I see it when it's finished, I wish I could have changed some stuff when I was still at the sketch stage, but it's a bit too late, isn't it? Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel. Here's my Instagram if you want to have a look at more art illustration, where I post almost every day. Well, depends of my mood. Yeah, alright. See you next time. Bye!